Single leg deadlifts are another favorite of mine. Not only because they pack a serious punch, but also because they can teach you a good deal about your conventional deadlift. The single leg deadlift is what it sounds like, a deadlift with only one leg on the floor. The back leg kind of floats behind you and largely stays out of the way. Since you're standing on only one leg, you won't be surprised to learn that there's a serious balance component that's inherent to this exercise. And while keeping your balance might be a challenge, it also helps to provide some useful feedback. Balance and stability go hand in hand. If your muscles aren't engaged and stable, you're probably going to have a hard time keeping your balance. It follows that the most important thing that you can do to keep your balance as you perform your single leg deadlifts is to make sure that you're stable as possible. This means clenching your abdominals, squeezing your shoulders back and down, and most importantly, keeping your spine neutral. A rounded back is inherently unstable, which also means that it's inherently unbalanced. This means that if you're finding that it's tough to keep your balance, well, it's worth making sure that your spine is in fact neutral. Now, I've taught this movement in groups and with individuals before, and the reaction that I often get when I suggest this idea is usually something to the effect of, "Psh, I know how to do a deadlift and I know that my back is neutral." But very often, nope. Even with experienced lifters. See, with a regular deadlift, it's harder to assess how stable your posture really is because you don't really have to worry about the balance piece. I mean, nobody's going to fall over with both feet on the floor. But by doing a single leg variation, it really shines a light on just how solid your posture is. So by really honing your balance with this single leg variation, it often helps to get a better feel for how you should set up for your conventional deadlift. One thing that's often an issue for taller lifters or anybody with limited mobility is that reaching down to grab the barbell asks too much of your hamstrings. If your hamstrings are too tight to reach the bar, your back will very likely bend to make up the difference. This will make the single leg deadlift extra challenging, and the fix for now is to elevate the barbell. Use some plates or risers to lift the bar an extra few inches off the floor, however far you need to be able to keep your spine neutral as you bend at the waist. And I promise that this applies to far more lifters than you might guess, maybe even you. Now, I want to be clear that even if you're doing everything perfectly correct, these are still quite tough. Feeling a little wobbly doesn't automatically mean that you're messing something up. But if you find that these are more than merely challenging, if they're borderline undoable, well then I'd suggest taking a video to see for yourself if your back is nice and flat. Perhaps try to elevate the bar slightly to see if that helps. It's a really tough, often cumbersome movement, but once you get the hang of it and make any necessary adjustments, it works really well and can help you improve in a few other places. Hard to ask for much more than that.